studio, here's Josh Hennig.
If you're not ready to be booed, then I'm telling you right now, don't be the head coach of the well, you're going to get booed sometimes. And if that's what you're worried about, then you're thinking about all the wrong things. Picking a fight with your own fans is the absolute worst thing a coach can do. You're saying, well, I don't think it's very productive if the fans are booing us. How productive is it for you to be worried about that when your team is barely beating what looks like the worst team in the entire NFL?
I just told him to be him. I need him to be 2022, Nick, so we can get there. Because we just want people to be themselves. At the end of the day, coach been taking a bunch of heat, and I understand he got a lot of stuff on him. We got his back because, Philly can be hard. I know all about it. I always said that they going to eat the words that they say. And so I know that's what Nick probably saying too. And every chance that he get it, you let him know, just like I would too.
I was trying to bring energy yesterday, enthusiasm yesterday. And I'm sorry and disappointed at how my energy was directed at the end of the game. And, my energy should be all in on coaching, motivating, right, and celebrating with our guys.
Well, it's certainly been an interesting last 24 hours for the Philadelphia Eagles. They won the game, but you would have no clue about them winning the game if it wasn't for the head coach of the team being an absolute idiot yesterday. We're into all this hour here on 97.3 ESPN here on Game Night. Josh Hennig hanging out with you in the Ocean Serum Resort Studios. Here's a breakdown of the hour here. Andy McNamara, who hosts the Six podcast, covers Cleveland Browns, he will join us coming up at 6:04. Today is Canadian Thanksgiving, so he's going to join us a little later in the hour. So right now, between now and then, it's you and me griping about the game yesterday. Text us at 609 403 0973. Your DMs, 973 ESPN. Mobile app, Power My First Bag. Jeff Bruce City. I already see your text coming in. I'll get to you and more in just a moment. But I got to get some things off my chest. First of all, before Nick Sirianni's press conference yesterday, my position on the Eagles yesterday was, the Dominic Toretto line from Fast and Furious. Doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. You play to win the game. That was my position on this team. Because I looked at the Eagles and I saw a team that found a way to win. And I have always been of the belief that if you find a way to win, I will give you credit for that. Winning is not easy in sports, especially in football, where every game is larger than life. If you lose a game, Mike Gill on the Sports Patch would say, winning a game in February is not as important as it is in April, right? The same thing goes for baseball, right? Winning and losing a game on May 17th is not as important as it is winning and losing games. So when I say that every game is more important in football, it absolutely is. You only get 17 of them in the NFL. And that's it. You're done. But yesterday, yes, I walked away initially from the game and looked around and said, all right, this is a team that found a way to win the game. And the defense did their job. And, something that I disagree with Mike Gill about this. Mike mentioned earlier about how we can't give people credit for doing their job. Well, I do give people credit for the job. Sometimes the people who are doing the job need the reinforcement to know that they did what was expected of them. Half the reason why, if anyone's ever studied psychology, half the reason why you get grades in high school and in college and in elementary school isn't because the teacher has to verify they're doing their job. It's to reinforce that you did your job, that you followed instruction. The whole reason we give grades on tests and on papers is to give feedback to the person who performed a task.
So, yes, I do give the Eagles credit for getting 10 quarterback hits, allowing no touchdowns. The only TD was because of that stupid pump block that Rodney McLeod ran back for a touchdown. The Eagles defense allowed 9 points to one of the worst teams of football yesterday. They did their job, and they deserve a hat tip. But the problem is that Nick Sirianni, being the ignoramus that he is, has taken all the attention away from this team and their win and placed it right on himself, because Nick Sirianni is incapable of not putting his foot in his mouth. And until I am proven otherwise, I am convinced that this organization enables his behavior. I am convinced this organization has no interest in Nick Sirianni being the best version of himself. They just want Sirianni to exist in the bubble that they have created, because the owner, Jeffrey Lurie, and the GM, Howie Roseman, and everybody in this organization does not care what you and I think. Because if they did, Nick Sirianni would not have kept his job after last year. Doug Peterson would have kept his job after the 2020 season. Chip Kelly would not have been fired before Christmas, and he would have been fired after the horrible loss on Thanksgiving versus the Lions in 2015. I can keep going. Okay, I can keep giving examples. The reality is that here is the series of events that led us to now having the question, should Nick Sirianni have his job anymore? Because for someone like me, I am not I blame the coach for everything guy. Is coaching more important in football than any other sport? Absolutely. But I also understand that if the offensive line doesn't block, if the receivers don't catch, I mean, Amari Cooper had at least 2 drops I remember yesterday in the game, and you have to wonder, how does that game play out yesterday if Amari Cooper doesn't have butterfingers? Guys don't tackle. I can't blame the coach for that. Guys drop a ball. Can't blame a coach for that. Guys don't do their job blocking. Can't blame a coach for that. I mean, Saquon Barkley, no one's talking about his complete failure on a pass block that got Hurts crushed in the game yesterday. No one's talking about DeJean and CJ colliding into each other on what should have been an easy interception, but both guys colliding each other like a center fielder not calling for it, or an outfield play, the left fielder running him over. We're not talking about any of that in the last 24 hours, because Nick Sirianni felt the need to go trash talking with the fans. For those who didn't know, they were chanting "Fire Nick" early in the game. He then brings his children to the press conference to act as human shields so the media doesn't question his antics. Then he proceeds to say a curse word multiple times in front of his children and say, "Oh, my bad." He says he has his children up there because he loves football and he loves family. He's going to play catch with his kids on the field. Unnecessary information. He also decides to say ASS in front of his kids multiple times and apologize for it later. This man seems to be incapable of being a good decision maker. And he might be the greatest, nicest human being in the world. And every report we have heard says the players like Nick Sirianni as a coach and as a person. But you know what, folks? I have a lot of people that I have known in my life who I like and I enjoy spending time with, who I would never, ever, ever hire for a job. Yesterday was the day that I joined the rest of you. Yesterday was the day that I chucked my phone, I put my chair back when I got home, and I closed my eyes, and I just didn't want to acknowledge the existence of life. Because Nick Sirianni has now become everything that I hate about the world. I go to football to get away from life. I go to sports because I love the fact that it's the closest thing to a meritocracy that we have. Those of you listening to the sound of my voice on 97.3 ESPN FM and on 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City, you guys pay an awful amount of money, like exorbitant amounts of money that some people couldn't even imagine having that is spare income. But you spend it to go to a football game, and you want to go see your team go out there and dominate and win, and you want to root on your team. And instead, you have a man who, for all intents and purposes, probably is not the most qualified person for the job, turning around and just acting a fool on the field, off the field, in a press conference. And his answer, when asked about it 12 hours after his antics 3 hours ago, he tells the media this.
I was trying to bring energy yesterday, energy, enthusiasm yesterday, and I'm sorry and disappointed on how my energy was directed at the end of the game. And my energy should be all in on coaching, motivating, right, and celebrating with our guys.
You're sorry and you're disappointed. We live in a world where people do less than that and get fired from their jobs. There are people who don't embarrass themselves publicly, who don't embarrass their jobs, who are not the face of their company and don't do anything, but they lose their jobs for frivolous reasons. But this man gets to embarrass himself, his organization, his family, and he gets to tell us how he's disappointed and sorry. I don't know what Nick Sirianni's home life is like, but I would hope that when he got home, his wife sent the kids to go play outside, and she laid into him for 10 minutes. And then I would hope that the people in the Eagles organization have the stones, the spine, to take Nick Sirianni aside when he came in Monday morning before the film session with the players, and Big Dom and Howie Roseman and Jeff Stoutland. I can't say Jeffrey Lurie because Nick Sirianni did admit during the press conference he had not talked to the Eagles owner yet as of the press conference today. But I would hope that Howie and Dom and Stoutland and maybe even Vic Fangio just took Sirianni in a room and just sat him down and said, this is an intervention. Because there are people in this world who have not embarrassed their jobs, not embarrassed themselves, not embarrassed their company, who didn't curse in front of their children, in front of the whole world to see, who didn't go out of his way to insult and be belligerent to his customers. There are people who did none of those things who have been fired from their jobs. But this man gets to say he's sorry and he's disappointed in himself. Well, I am disappointed that the Philadelphia Eagles are an organization that enables and abets a man to act like an imbecile on the company dime, insult the customer, embarrass himself, his family. The Eagles organization is as much to blame as Sirianni for this. Where was Big Dom grabbing Sirianni and stopping him from going after the fans? Where was the Eagles PR staff talking to Sirianni before he brought his 3 children out there and said, hey, Nick, you good? You got yourself together? You're all situated? You know they're going to ask you about this and that? Maybe you don't want to curse in front of your kids? Where was anyone intervening with this man? This man is allowed to run completely unhinged, and nobody stops him. No one does anything. Big Dom is more than willing to protect the Eagles players, but you're telling me that Big Dom couldn't look around and be like, why is Nick going chirping at the fans right now? That's not a good look. Maybe I should go grab him. If anyone believes that this organization is not to blame for the antics of this ignoramus, then either you are somebody who is on the Eagles payroll, or you are somebody who doesn't like to accept that we live in a world where there are people who are enabled for their bad behavior as much as there are people who have bad behavior. Let me catch my breath. 609-403-0973. Jeff from Ocean City chimes in and says, hey, Josh, I've convinced myself that the Eagles are an average team who could win an average NFC East. My question is, why the offense is so average? Is it the quarterback, coaching, or both? Jeff from Ocean City, it's both. I remember, so I saw George from Galloway yesterday. Shout out to George from Galloway. And I remember saying this to him, and I said it to Billy Schweim yesterday when we were at Lascala's and Brigantine. And if you come out and see me at Doyle's Poorhouse this Sunday in Tuckerton when we have our Eagles watch party at Doyle's Poorhouse, Tuckerton, I will tell you the same thing that I told anybody who will listen. Jalen Hurts is making predetermined throws. The man doesn't even turn his head sometimes to scan the field. Every Saturday in college football, I see college quarterbacks doing what Jalen Hurts is not doing in the NFL. In fact, I saw Jalen Hurts do this in 2019 at Oklahoma. You drop back, you get the snap, and you scan the field, and then you throw the ball. Jalen Hurts, for the last 2 years, has way too many predetermined throws. So, Jeff from Ocean City, I blame both for this offense being so average, because obviously the quarterback is either not listening or not learning, and the coaching staff is not enabling him or empowering him in the way that Shane Steichen did in 2022. Now, to your point about the NFC East, yes. The entire NFC East lost yesterday, except for the Eagles. The Giants' defense is good. Their offense is horrible. Which will probably be the why, whatever the number is this week, you should take the under in the Eagles-Giants game, because it's going to be a rock fight, because apparently the Eagles and Giants defenses are better than their offenses. Dallas got embarrassed at home again. And frankly, I don't even know who's more on a hot seat right now. Is it Mike McCarthy or is it Doug Peterson? Because Jacksonville and Dallas are complete 5-alarm fires right now. Washington losing to Baltimore was kind of to be seen, right? You know, if you are someone who had watched Baltimore play this year enough, you would know that the Ravens are a team that has talent. And what you saw in the game against Washington was you finally saw somebody who got Jaden Daniels, I should say, uncomfortable. It's not that Daniels had a bad game, but he was not elite, because Baltimore's defense, which has been pretty average this year, has enough talent on the defense to make life difficult for a rookie quarterback. I don't think it's a coincidence that when you have a team with Marlon Humphrey and Roquan Smith and Kyle Hamilton and Eddie Jackson playing safety and Kyle Van Noy rushing the quarterback, that maybe, just maybe, you're going to make the guy's life a little difficult. So I'm not exactly shocked that Washington lost the game. But Jeff from Ocean City is right. This is a very, very, very average NFC East. The best division in the NFC is the North. I mean, if anyone had the Bears winning 4 games of their first 6, please go play the lottery and make yourself some money, my friend, because you know something that the rest of us don't. I mean, the entire NFC North is not just has a winning record, but they have better records than half the NFL. You think I'm kidding? Every team has at least 4 wins. The Bears are 4-2. The Packers are 4-2, and they're tied for bottom of the division. There's no other division in the NFL where you could be 4-2 and be in last place except for the NFC North. So yes, the NFC East is very, very average this year. Dan and EHT, George and Summers Point. I want to get you guys coming up next. Your texts on the other side. 609-403-0973 is the text board. Your DMs into 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. And don't forget, we have Andy McNamara joining us coming up in about 17 minutes from now here on 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It's Philadelphia Flyers hockey tomorrow night on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. Listen as Tim Saunders and Todd Fedor bring you all the exciting play-by-play action.
Shoots, he scores! Matt Beachcomb puts the finishing touches on it.
It's Flyers Oilers tomorrow night. Coverage begins after playoff baseball on South Jersey's radio home for Philadelphia Flyers hockey. 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Go to get your game on at the Gallery Bar Book and Games at Ocean Casino Resort. Cheers your favorite drinks while cheering on your favorite team. Get in on the parlay while in the middle of a party. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screens. Go to the Gallery. Go to the Fanatic Sportsbook. Go for the win at Ocean Casino Resort. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
It's the time of year for killer deals. You've had your eye on some hot new wheels. We want to pay off your loan or lease and tell your old car to rust in peace.
Get your Matt Black Kia today. Buried in a loan or lease? Matt Black Kia wants to get you released. Then treat yourself to 0 down, 0 payments until next year. Even 0% up to 72 months on every clearly marked new Matt Black Kia in stock. You won't need a costume to get a brand new Matt Black Kia Forte LXS under 20 grand. That's right, a brand new Kia, just $19,999 with any trade. That's less than most used vehicles.
It's gotta be a Matt Black Kia.
Bulletproof credit, 24 EV9 and 6, $1388 per thousand. Not all will qualify. Credit may affect down payment. Offers can't be combined. Go to mattblackkianj.com for complete details or 888-505-6670. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer except for licensing, registration, and taxes through KNF. Rebates and incentives to dealer. Expires 10/31/24. Matt Black Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, and on Route 37 in Toms River.
Get your holidays started with the perfect tree in your perfect style from the Home Depot. Whether you want something that you can assemble in a few clicks, steal the show with over 2,000 color-changing bulbs, or a tree with lights that can be controlled by remote or foot pedal. The Home Depot has it all in our huge assortment of premium trees. Plus, get free delivery on over 2 million items this holiday from the Home Depot. Subject to availability. See homedepot.com/delivery for details.
Hi, it's Pete from Chickie and Pete's. Wrap up your workday with the all-new Chickies and Pete's Happy Hour with unbeatable specials weekdays from 4 to 6 p.m. Enjoy half-price orders of Chickies medium tender wings, one of our tasty and delicious pizzas, or an order of mouth-watering hot, cold, or fried shrimp. Plus $3 domestic bottled beers, $5 Tito's, and $6 seltzers. It's the all-new Happy Hour, weekdays 4 to 6 p.m. only at Chickies and Pete's. Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Now, for a limited time, it's buy one, get one free snow crab legs every Tuesday and Wednesday. Buy one, get one free, and enjoy the sweet, delicate flavor of snowy white crab meat. Pair it with one of our handcrafted cocktails like the Stoli Vanilla Creamsicle or the Bourbon Peach Sweet Tea. Top it off with Chicky and Pete's world famous crab fries. Buy one, get one free snow crab legs every Tuesday and Wednesday for a limited time. Restrictions apply only at Chickies and Pete's.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? I think my battery's dead. With free battery testing and charging, we can help you get back on the road.
Get in zone,
So what if I need a new one? We have the right Duralast battery for you, only at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
And what about my old battery? We can recycle it right here at America's #1 battery destination.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This is the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network.
Progressive Insurance presents the Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN. Jalen Hurts with 2 touchdown passes as the Eagles defeat the Cleveland Browns Sunday 20-16. Philadelphia now 3-2. Hurts finishing with 264 yards through the air. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith had touchdown receptions. Brown finishing with 116 yards receiving. Jake Elliott hit 2 field goals. Philadelphia back in Week 7. They'll head to MetLife Stadium to take on the Giants. It's the first divisional game of the year. The Flyers are in Edmonton Tuesday night as they take on the Oilers. 4-game that began the season. Philadelphia losing Saturday to Calgary 6-3. They beat Vancouver Friday night in a shootout to open up the season, and this trip will wrap up Thursday in Seattle. The Sixers facing the Atlanta Hawks tonight. It's preseason play, regular season opener October 23rd against Milwaukee. Philadelphia will play the preseason without Joel Embiid. He is going to manage his left knee to be ready for the regular season. I'm Tony Desiri, and that's your Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN.
New Jersey is the Garden State. But did you know that one of the most important things we can farm is wind? Offshore wind provides clean, renewable energy. It creates jobs and drives economic growth. In fact, it's estimated that a single wind farm can create over 4,000 jobs and add more than $700 million to the state's economy. Offshore wind, propelling New Jersey's future. To learn more, visit nj.gov/offshore wind.
Good afternoon with your South Jersey weather forecast. I'm Joe Kelly. We're going to keep pushing through the week with a lot of great weather. We had a great weekend, didn't we? Yesterday was gorgeous. Today, we've had a nice day. A little bit of wind here and there. We'll have a few clouds tonight, a low temperature of 40. Tomorrow looks partly sunny with a high of 61. And honestly, through the week, we have no chance of rain from now through the weekend. Enjoy. That's your South Jersey weather forecast. I'm Joe Kelly.
97.3 ESPN has teamed up with Seize the Deal for incredible weekly offers from some fantastic local restaurants. Here's this week's big deal.
Get a $50 gift card, good for use at the Ravioli House in Wildwood for just $25.
Get this great deal starting Friday at 9 a.m. at seizethedeal.com. Hurry, chances are this deal will sell quickly. For more info on this great deal, go to seizethedeal.com.
SeizeTheDeal.com.
This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Eagles moving the football. Hurts again in the gun. He's back. He's looking. He fires. Wide open. Smith. 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Devontae Smith. Hello.
97.3 ESPN. Mel Reese, Mike Quick on the call yesterday. Yes, there were actually touchdowns scored yesterday, and Jalen Hurts threw 2 touchdowns, but you wouldn't know it the way people are talking about this team because of their head coach. And I got to be honest with you guys, I haven't heard a single person give me enough argument yet. Social media, text 4609 403 or the 973 I haven't heard a single person give me a good enough argument to tell me that anything I open the show with Sirianni is incorrect. No. Well, I appreciate Stephen Metner trying his best to change the topic to the Phillies. Sorry, Stephen Ventnor. That's tomorrow's show because Dave Dombrowski and Rob Thompson speak to me come up. But today, it's about the Eagles. Georgia's Summers Point Championship for the 69-403-0973. Sirianni showing his immaturity during the home game. He has to realize the fans have a great deal in whether he continues coaching the team or not. One of the first things they tell you as a coach or a public figure is that if you listen to what the fans say, you will soon be sitting with them. Sirianni has to stop with the rabbit ears, learn to ignore, or otherwise it is not going to end well for him in Philadelphia. First of all, the comment about if you listen to fans, you'll stay with them is a great point to bring up because that's something that's been said for decades. And I don't understand. I will never understand the people who feel the need to feed the trolls. Okay? Look, if you think I'm an idiot, thank you for listening to 97.3 ESPN. If you think I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread, thank you for also listening to 97.3 ESPN. If you enjoy tuning in to hear what kind of craziness I'm going to say every day, I still thank you for listening. Sirianni doesn't treat the people like that. He looks at it as almost personal. Nick, people want you fired because they think the team should be undefeated. It doesn't matter if it's rational. It doesn't matter if it makes sense. Nick, you just understand that. And George to the point, 100% right. It's a sign of maturity. As I said, I would like to know who are the people in Nick Sirianni's life who are not talking to him about these things. You know, okay, I say this with a caveat. If you have healthy relationships, okay, or even good relationships with people in your life, whether it's professional or personal, everyone needs people in their life who are going to tell them the truth, whether they want to hear it or not. And I genuinely question if Sirianni has those people in his life. I genuinely wonder, does Nick Sirianni have the people in his life, whether it's, professionally or personally, who are going to speak to him truthfully? Because I'm telling you one thing, if I acted the way that Nick Sirianni did in any public setting, I would get you know what for it. From my mother, from my father. I have friends of mine who would be blowing up my phone, ripping into me. I mean, I literally have people in my life who will tell me that they don't agree with me about sports, about politics, about many things. It doesn't mean that they hate me. It just means that they're trying to speak to me truthfully. And I don't know if Sirianni has those people in his life. Dan and EHT chimes in on the text board. He says, I like Sirianni. He's emotional. Finally, we have a coach who shows emotion and isn't a robot. He's not perfect, but he's learning how to handle the media on the job. He's won a lot of games. And let's stop trying to run another head coach out of town again. Dan from EHC also says, no, Josh, you want the head coach to be perfect. Give me a break. Well, no, I don't want the coach to be perfect. I want the coach to be smart. I want the coach to do what Jeffrey Lurie calls have emotional intelligence. I don't think that we're holding these coaches to impossible standards. I can't name another coach who acts like he does. And if you want to say Jim Harbaugh and John Harbaugh, listen, you're either pointing to Jim Harbaugh's personal beliefs, and some of his zany comments he has made at press conferences over the years. It's not on the same level. I've never seen Jim Harbaugh even curse at a press conference. I have to go back through all of his years. Nick Sirianni said the S word in front of his kids multiple times and then apologized for it again and again and again. I mean, his daughter is literally looking at him like, Daddy, are you okay? I'm sorry, but I have never seen a father have his daughter look at him like that. He didn't melt and just stop what he was doing. Sirianni has no control. You can be emotional and be controlled. I did not say a single curse word the entirety of the last 36 minutes I've been behind this microphone. Nick Sirianni couldn't go 5 minutes without spitting expletives. And I guarantee you that if there was a competition of emotional aggressiveness and competitiveness and a passion, then me and Sirianni are at worst equals, or I am more. Because I'm telling you guys right now, I am one of the most passionate people you will ever meet. I'm passionate about my job. I'm passionate about sports. I'm passionate about life. I'm passionate about everything that interests me. I am an 110% kind of person. It's probably part of the reason why I'm single, because I know some women can't handle a man who is 110% about everything he does. But I'm telling you guys right now, I control a lot of that aggression. You have to in life. It's how you keep your job. It's how you have friends. It's how you have life functional. There's no point in my life, if I ever act the way Sirianni did, that people in my life, I have a lot of friends, but I have a very small group, that somebody in that group isn't sitting me down and talking to me the way that Sirianni needs to be talked to. So sorry, Danny HT. We will have to agree to disagree. Andy McNamara from the Sick Podcast joins us next here on 97.3 ESPN FM and don't forget the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
This is South Jersey's official home for Philadelphia Eagles football. The Eagles continue the 2024 season this Sunday in New Jersey against their NFC East rival Giants.
He's going to go! Touchdown! Saquon Barkley!
Listen to all the action with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick with pregame coverage starting at noon and kickoff at 1 p.m. This is the play-by-play home of the Philadelphia Eagles, 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's Eagles station.
Go to get your game on at the Gallery Bar Book and Games at Ocean Casino Resort. Cheers your favorite drinks while cheering on your favorite team. Get in on the parlay while in the middle of a party. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screens. Go to the Gallery. Go to the Fanatic Sportsbook. Go for the win at Ocean Casino Resort. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? I think my battery's dead. With free battery testing and charging, we can help you get back on the road.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
So what if I need a new one? We have the right Duralast battery for you, only at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
And what about my old battery? We can recycle it right here at America's #1 battery destination.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Your luxury BMW experience is closer than you think. Take advantage of exceptional savings at BMW of Atlantic City. Stop in and shop your favorite models, including the new BMW 2 Series, X3, and more. We're sure to have a vehicle that fits your needs. And with Acceleride, purchase your vehicle online and we'll deliver it directly to you. Looking to trade? We'll pay top dollar for your current vehicle. Experience luxury today at BMW of Atlantic City, closer than you think. In Egg Harbor Township, shop our complete inventory online at BMWAtlanticCity.com.
Our new KFC 3-piece original recipe tenders, fries, and comeback sauce are just $5. A deal so tasty, our competitors might consider switching sides.
So no one will recognize me if I say how much I love your 11 herbs and spices.
Nope, I added a filter to your voice.
Sounds like it's only on your voice.
No, it's on your voice. Wait.
Let the chicken tender battles begin. Try the new 3-piece original recipe tenders, fries, and comeback sauce for $5. Only at KFC. It's finger-licking good. Prices and participation may vary. Taxes, tips, and fees extra.
Your business needs a network it can count on.
Power's out.
Comcast Business has you covered with Wi-Fi backup to help keep your business up and running, even when your power goes out.
Everybody in the warehouse good? Lights are out, but the Wi-Fi's up. Let's power on.
It's from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
Break room, you good? Can't microwave my burrito, but Wi-Fi's fine. Let's power on.
Power on with a leader in connectivity. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Keep your business connected with Comcast Business Internet and Wi-Fi backup, or get started with reliable internet for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Don't wait. Call or go online today. Ends 11/17/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eco bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change.
Get your holidays started with the perfect tree in your perfect style from the Home Depot. Whether you want something that you can assemble in a few clicks, steal the show with over 2,000 color-changing bulbs, or a tree with lights that can be controlled by remote or foot pedal. The Home Depot has it all in our huge assortment of premium trees. Plus, get free delivery on over 2 million items this holiday from the Home Depot. Subject to availability, see homedepot.com/delivery for details.
With GM financing to qualified buyers excludes Traverse and Corvette, excludes prior sales.
Need a car, truck, or SUV? Great! Get to Bennett Chevy, where you're going to get Bennett's best offers ever. You know Bennett sells new Chevys at the true GM supplier employee price, right? Well, right now, Bennett Chevrolet says, how'd you like to buy your new Chevy and pay $500 below the GM supplier employee price? Yes, $500 less than our employees. Plus, you keep all the rebates. That's up to 15% off the sticker. And with available 0% financing, you'll have incredibly low payments. And if you've got an old car to trade, right now you'll get a minimum $10,000 towards any pre-owned vehicle in stock. That's at least 10 grand for total junk. Imagine how much we'll pay for good trades. And wait till you experience Bennett's non-commissioned sales team. Paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend, so they'll make getting all these unbelievable deals even better. Together, let's drive. Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
When something happens to your kitchen, you might say,
"This is ludicrous."
but that won't fix your home. That will only get you the rapper, Ludacris.
Having trouble? Don't panic. Don't be alarmed. You need to file a claim? Holla at State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
That's right. You can file a claim on the app or call us.
Thanks, Mr. Chris.
No matter how ludicrous the situation, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
Step into the heart of Tuckerton at Doyle's Poorhouse, where great food meets a family-friendly atmosphere. Craving a hearty meal or a place to unwind with friends, Doyle's Poorhouse of Tuckerton has it all. Mouth-watering dishes crafted with care and the best events in town. Live music nights and community gatherings. There's always something happening at Doyle's Poorhouse of Tuckerton. Visit them today and experience the warmth of their hospitality. Doyle's Poorhouse of Tuckerton, where every visit feels like coming home. Visit Doyle's Poorhouse of Tuckerton, your new favorite spot for food, fun, and family.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennick on 97.3 ESPN and on the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Speaking of Doyle's Poorhouse of Tuckerton, we will be there this Sunday for our Eagles-Giants watch party. Come out and join me and the 97.3 ESPN team, and we will be giving away for the grand prize a Saquon Barkley Eagles jersey. You know, it's a shame we didn't talk about how Saquon had a bad game yesterday. Not just for fantasy football owners, but I mean, the guy literally missed a block. I mean, dude, you have a job on third down. You couldn't pick up the block. One person who is probably more frustrated than I am today is Andy McNamara joining us, host of the Sick Podcast. First of all, Andy, happy Canadian Thanksgiving. I hope you had a good dinner with your family.
Thank you, my friend. Yes. I had zero to be thankful for when it comes to the Browns this year, but I will swear in my life very thankful. Thank you.
It's interesting because I said earlier in the show, and I don't know how much you've been tracking this today, but, you know, I thought that, you know, after the game, all I thought of was the game, right? I thought of what the Eagles did defensively. I thought of how Amari Cooper dropped 2 balls. I thought of how Cooper DeJean and C. Gardner-Johnson ran into each other like 2 outfielders who didn't know whose call it was. You know, I thought of Jalen Carter wrecking havoc. I thought of the Devonta Smith touchdown, the A.J. Brown amazing catch. That's where my mind was. But Andy, the last 24 hours have turned into an indictment on Sirianni's immaturity.
Yeah.
And I just got to ask you, what is worse today? Is it Sirianni saying that he's sorry and he's disappointed in himself? Or is it Kevin Stefanski saying that Deshaun Watson gives the Browns the best chance to win?
I have to say Sirianni, because Stefanski isn't speaking for himself. Like that's what people. That's
he says he is.
He says he is. I can say a lot of things too, Josh. I can say a lot of things. I can't say on the air. I can say a bunch, but it doesn't mean it's true. This is not true. Stefanski has to say that, but everybody in the local Cleveland media knows it's BS. Everyone's in the national media. Bench Deshaun Watson. But look, if you gave him truth serum, he would have definitely get rid of Deshaun Watson and bench him and would have brought back Joe Flacco. That's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
But he can't do that because the owner and that failed baseball loser executive, Paul DePodesta, want Deshaun Watson to work so he can look smart. He is the chief strategy officer. I don't know what the strategy is. His strategy was 1-31. Paul DePodesta's strategy of losing, spot on. Mwah, beautiful. Goes back to the Oakland A's. Lovely. He can do that. He can fail with the best of them and make money. Succeed is a different story. Anyway, I don't remember your original question, but I'm mad.
Well, you said the Sirianni thing is worse because Stefanski's doing what he's told to do.
Yes, he's told to. Yeah, I watching the game, Sirianni yelling at fans, and then what he really got roasted for too was bringing his kid up so he wouldn't have to answer any hard questions.
But it was worse because I don't know if you saw the press conference, you probably didn't because you were probably ranting and raving on the Sixth podcast, wherever you get your podcast, like and subscribe and download. Sirianni said the S word in front of his kids. And I don't mean sucks.
Oh,
I mean the SH word. And he's like, oh yeah, my bad. And then he says ASS in front of his kids multiple times. Then it says my bad. And it's like,
what's wrong with this guy?
Like how does this man, I mean, Andy, if you did that and with your kids on a public platform, your wife would grill you.
Oh, good Lord. Yes. Yeah, and rightfully so. Okay, he brings it up, and whether he admits it or not, most reporters aren't going to grill a guy who's got his kid up there. So that's a bit of a wimpy
He brought
way
them
out.
as human shields. Yes, they're human shields.
But then he was swearing. You're right, and he's yelling at fans. He just was kind of discombobulated. Like if the Eagles found a way, if Deshaun Watson and that offense could have found a way in the fourth quarter to get an offensive touchdown. God forbid they could do that. They got 0 of those. That would have been a totally different conversation because ultimately the Eagles won. You move forward. Josh, imagine if that was a loss and he did that. He might be right on the firing block if that happened.
And that's what's weird because I was saying before you came on, Andy McNamara joining us at AndyMC81 on the Twitter X platform. When you think about it, it's almost like the organization enables his behavior. Like the way he acted with the fans, right? And by the way, he went after Newsom at one point during the game.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
He's chirping at him. Then he's chirping at the fans who were chanting "Fire Nick" earlier in the game. Okay. I mean, it's been suggested by some people the fans were mad because people had a lot of money on the cover of the spread. Eagles didn't cover the spread. That's obviously a little tongue in cheek, but still,
right.
It's the idea that the guy doesn't have the intelligence to do that. Where's Big Dom? Where's the security guy going to grab him, pulling him away from the fans, right?
Sure.
Who's the person who takes him aside for the press conference to be like, all right, Nick, you good? You need some water. You calm. You got yourself
together.
Who's the person who takes him at the building this morning? Because he said the press conference today, Andy. He said at the press conference, he goes, I haven't talked to the owner yet this week. Like, well, who did talk to? Like, who'd you talk to today?
Yeah.
Because I know for me, Andy, if I did any of the things that he did in a public setting, there's people in my life, whether I like it or not, my mom and dad, or maybe my aunt, or maybe a friend of mine, maybe even you, Andy, is going to text me and be like, dude, you need to get your you-know-what together. Like, who's the person? I almost think someone's enabling this guy.
I'd probably cheer you on. Like, keep going, bro. Take it to the next level. I always go the wrestling heel angle. So I think we would enable each other in that scenario. But like, you're right. And why isn't he talking to the owner? Because the Philadelphia ownership, we talked about it last week, how the Browns are dysfunctional at the top and the Eagles at the top have it together. So why isn't he being held accountable? Was that done this afternoon? Was that because that behavior is just odd? And again, they are so lucky, the Eagles are, that they got the win there. But that's not saying much against this Browns team. What happens next week? What happens at the next home game when the fans boo him? Is he going to keep it together? Was this a one-off weird thing?
Right.
Who knows, right? That's the concerning part. And players pick up on that, of course, right? So if you act like that way and you lose, then we're going to have a bigger problem.
Well, here's the thing, and let me play the audio for you. And I just want the genuine Andy McNamara reaction to this, because Brandon Graham was asked about Sirianni after the game yesterday, and he's not the only one who said this to the media. He's just one of the only guys who got on audio saying this to the media. Okay, take a listen.
I just told him to be him. I need him to be 2022 Nick, so we can get there. Because, we just want people to be themselves. At the end of the day, Coach been taking a bunch of heat, and I understand he got a lot of stuff on him. We got his back because, Philly can be hard. I know all about it. I always said that they going to eat the words that they say. And so I know that's what Nick probably saying, too. And every chance that he get, you let him know, just like I would, too.
Your response, Andy McNamara.
Yeah, that is, I think, very well said. But what it's saying is, be the guy who led us to the Super Bowl. Be that guy. Be like him. That guy wasn't using his kids as human press conference shields, yelling at fans and acting just straight up weird, right? He seemed a much more polished together guy, at least from the outside to me, back in 2022. So I think that's a very clear message saying, hey, we got your back, but man, we need you. And when he says you to be you, they want the him to be the 2022 going to the Super Bowl guy. So that'll be interesting how that responds. But I thought that from a leader player on that Eagles team, that I don't think you can say it any better and make that message any more clear indirectly to Nick Sirianni.
Yeah, it's also weird because people are calling for Nick Sirianni to be fired here in this market in South Jersey and Philadelphia. But what's going on with the Browns? Because Stefanski's not getting fired, and they're 1-5. The Eagles are 3-2. They want the coach fired. The Browns are 1-5. And what are the fans saying?
Here's the thing, Josh, and this is why my point is accurate. When Kevin Stefanski is not calling his own shots. If he was calling his own shots, the owner should be up top. What the bleep are you doing with this offense, with this quarterback? Bench him. Get him out of here. The fact that Kevin Stefanski, from day one of the reasons they wanted to hire him, 2-time coach of the year, and he's done a great job overall, was because he's collaborative. He doesn't have that big ego. He's very passive. They had all the dysfunction, the Joe Banner, Lombardi, Dorsey, everybody, and Jimmy Haslam like, no, I want kumbaya, everyone getting along. Essentially a bunch of yes men. And Kevin Stefanski, and he just got an extension on a contract. Look, man, he's got a young family, wants to get paid. I get it. I'd probably do it too. But he is not going to go against the grain because that gets you fired under Jimmy Haslam and the Cleveland Browns. So the reason he is not under the microscope and on the hot seat is proving my point that he's not calling the shots. The fans want him fired. They want Watson benched. They want Watson cut. They want everything. Dorsey cut. They want everything blown up, right? But the problem is that Paul DePodesta, and I maintain it goes back to that guy up at the top because he is in the ear of Jimmy Haslam for what reason, I don't know. But he's in the ear. And that guy wants it. So until Jimmy Haslam gets knocked out of whatever spell this is and figures out that this carny snake oil salesman has been duping him for almost a decade and gets rid of him, if this strategy remains, you can get Kevin Stefanski out of there and they'll bring in another yes man. Josh, will be the same thing under Paul DePodesta. That's why there's no fire from the ownership on Kevin Stefanski because he's doing what he's told. They're saying, you keep putting Deshaun Watson out. They'll figure it out. It's not his fault. Well, it is his fault in a lot of ways and a lot of other ways too.
Before I let you go, I just got to ask you, Doug Peterson loses again in London. The Dallas Cowboys get embarrassed with Mike McCarthy in Dallas. We got the situation with our fans here in the Philadelphia area with Nick Sirianni. Who gets fired first? Who's the guy getting fired next? Because no one had Robert Saleh as first off the market, right? That just was
bizarre.
All righty then. Which I still contend there's more to that story. There's gonna be a 30 for 30 on this thing one day, and we're all gonna be sitting watching with full 110% attention, learning what happened 20 years ago from now. So who gets fired next, Andy?
Boy, I would have. And first of all, on the Jets, you're right. This is a case where the play calling on offense is terrible, which Robert Saleh doesn't handle. It's Aaron Rodgers' hand-chosen guy, Nathaniel Hackett. He wants to change play calling, and he gets fired because Aaron Rodgers has a hissy fit. Okay. Yeah.
And they changed the play caller anyway.
And they changed him anyway. That's the bizarre. I'm like, what? That's the bizarre part. Look, Robert Saleh is going to be fine. Okay, he's got to be a DC and he'll be a head coach in a couple years again, I'm sure. I don't think he's as bad as his record was. But the next guy, my head has to tell me that it's got to be Doug Peterson, right? And it's so bizarre, Josh. Like, look, Doug Peterson at his core is not a bad football coach, obviously.
Right.
He's won a Super Bowl. He brought the Jags back to a point, and now something is just not right. And I can't put my finger on what that is because he deprogrammed a lot out of Trevor Lawrence, what Urban Meyer put in him. Maybe not all of it, maybe not enough. And it just got weird. They made a trade today. They sent one of their defensive players to Seattle for a 5th or 6th round pick, Robert.
Yeah, their D tackle. He's going to be in the air for 10 hours.
Yes, I saw that. Poor guy. Yeah, so he's going to Seattle. My money would be on Doug Peterson. The owner gave him a vote of confidence. That can sometimes be the kiss of death. Well, we'll see. Because really, for the Jags, the way they're built and the expectations coming into this year. Remember, Trevor Lawrence played through a bunch of injuries last year, and they were one drop pass away from winning that division and going to the playoffs. So their expectations this year was winning the division or competing for it, and it's far from that.
At AndyMC81 on the Twitter X platform, what's up with the sick podcast this week?
Oh boy, man! Well, I'm heading to Cleveland. I was hoping under better circumstances on Friday. So I'm very excited about that. I'm going to be there live. Guardians are going to be playing. We'll deal with the Browns and Bengals. You know, there'll be a lot of beverages drunk, I'm sure. So we're going to have fun in Cleveland. Lots of live content there on Twitter, on YouTube. And then tomorrow, on Tuesday, we'll have our under-the-wire, waiver-wire pickups for fantasy football. Bunch of injuries to deal with. We'll tee up Bengals versus Browns and get some early best bets in as well.
Happy Thanksgiving, my friend.
Thank you, buddy. We'll talk to you soon. See ya.
Tell Canada I said hello.
Yes, I will. Hello, Canada. See ya.
Andy McNamara joining us here on 97.3 ESPN. By the way, tonight on 97.3 ESPN, you might be able to learn more about the football teams we just mentioned earlier. The Jets, with their new head coach, their new offensive play caller, take on the Buffalo Bills. Coverage begins at 7:30 tonight on 97.3 ESPN FM, and you can listen to the game on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. Thanks to everybody who texted in today, even Dan from EHC who disagrees. I'll be back tomorrow here on 97.3 ESPN. Yes, Steven Ventnor, we will talk some Phillies tomorrow because, you know, we could hopefully get our mind off of Sirianni for a day because Rob Thompson and Dave Dombrowski speak tomorrow, and I'm sure they're going to say something that is going to pique all of our interest. That's tomorrow here on 97.3 ESPN. Have a great night, everybody.
Go to get your game on at the Gallery Bar Book and Games at Ocean Casino Resort. Cheers your favorite drinks while cheering on your favorite team. Get in on the parlay while in the middle of a party. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screens. Go to the Gallery. Go to the Fanatic Sportsbook. Go for the win at Ocean Casino Resort. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.